Welcome to The Explainer. In this guide, we're going to break down exactly what hardware you need to run some seriously powerful AI models right from your own desk.
So let me ask you something. What if you could have all the power of something like ChatGPT, but it was yours and only yours? I'm talking about an AI that's totally private, no subscriptions, no weird limits, just running on a machine that you own.
Okay, so let's dive right in. The benefits of running AI locally, they're pretty incredible. For starters, you're saving a ton of cash. We're talking hundreds of dollars a year you'd otherwise spend on services like ChatGPT Plus. But even more important for a lot of people is total data privacy. Nothing leaves your machine. So here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with the single most important technical detail you need to know. Then we'll walk through the best setups for 3 different budgets, and finally show you how to get everything up and running. You might be thinking you need some kind of supercomputer to get into AI, right? Well, the reality is actually much simpler, and thankfully way cheaper. It turns out the single most important thing isn't the fastest, newest processor. Nope, it all comes down to the amount and the type of memory your machine has. Okay, so when it comes to memory for AI, there are basically 2 different paths, and the difference is huge. On a traditional PC, everything depends on your graphics card's VRAM. The entire AI model has to squeeze into that space. If it doesn't fit, your performance just tanks. But on an Apple Silicon Mac, it's a completely different story. The AI can access a giant shared pool of memory, and for these big language models, that's a total game changer. And this workbench versus warehouse analogy, it just hits the nail on the head. Apple's unified memory is like having this enormous workbench, where all your tools are right there. A traditional PC has a tiny little workbench, that's the VRAM, and it's constantly having to run back to the warehouse for stuff, which just slows the whole operation down. But hey, for all you PC users, don't worry, there's a really clever trick called quantization. The easiest way to think about it is like a JPEG for AI. It compresses the model, shrinking it down so you can fit, say, a 20 gigabyte model onto a card with only 12 gigs of VRAM. Super smart. Okay, now let's see how this all plays out in our first budget category. All right, section 2, the entry level. This is your first step into local AI, and we're talking about powerful setups you can get for under €1,000. Yeah, that's right. For under €1,000, you can actually put together a surprisingly capable AI machine. The absolute key here is getting the most memory possible for every single euro you spend. So this chart really shows you the core relationship we're talking about. The more RAM you have, the larger and smarter the AI models you can run. For these entry-level setups, we're really aiming for that 16 to 32 gigabyte sweet spot. Okay, let's break down the options. Honestly, in this price range, it's hard to beat a refurbished Mac Mini M2 Pro with 32 gigs of memory. For around €800, you get a machine that can smoothly run some seriously powerful 14 billion parameter models. That's incredible value. Now, if you're a PC builder, you're going to want to look for a graphics card like the RTX 3060, specifically with 12 or 16 gigabytes of VRAM. Okay, let's move up a notch to the Pro sweet spot. This is all about maximum performance for minimum cost. We're talking about the best value for professionals and serious enthusiasts. Basically, anyone who wants that near GPT-4 level quality without the monthly subscription. Right, so once you get to around the €1,500 mark, things get really interesting. Your options just open up dramatically, and you can start running some truly professional-grade models. And the standout here, without a doubt, is the refurbished Mac Mini M4 Pro with 48 gigs of memory. This little machine is a beast. It can comfortably run 32 billion parameter models, which are absolutely fantastic for things like coding and other complex tasks. For the PC folks, this budget gets you into entry-level professional workstations. And look, you don't just have to take our word for it. This quote perfectly sums it up. He calls it the AI workstation with the best price-performance ratio in 2026. I mean, that tells you why this machine is turning so many heads. It's delivering performance that not too long ago would have cost you thousands more. Okay, so finally, what if you need the absolute best? We're talking about serving AI to a small team, maybe doing serious research, or you just want to run the biggest, baddest open source models out there. This is the ultimate power machine category. This is where we enter the big leagues. You're looking at machines like the Mac Studio M2 Ultra with a mind-boggling 192 gigabytes of unified memory. This is a research-grade machine. It can run models with over 200 times billion parameters. On the PC side, this means you're building a rig with multiple GPUs, which takes more setup but can give you absolutely screaming performance. So when it all boils down, the most crucial thing is picking the right tool for the job. Do you crave the endless customization and gaming power of a PC build? Or do you need the incredible memory efficiency of an Apple Silicon Mac? Or maybe you need the rock-solid stability of a professional workstation. It's all about what you need. All right, so we've talked a lot about hardware, but what about actually using it? Well, the good news is getting started is way, way easier than you probably think. And seriously, it is this simple. Once you've got your machine, it's basically a three-step process. Install a free tool like LM Studio or Llama, download a model, and that's it. You can literally go from unboxing a computer to talking with your own private AI in less time than it takes to brew a pot of coffee. It's amazing. So the big takeaway here is that hardware just isn't the barrier it used to be. The power to build, to create, to explore with AI is more accessible right now than it has ever been. So really, the only question left is, what are you going to do with it?